this video a little bit late, but right here in my pan I have some olive oil and I'm sauteing onions and green peppers. These are red onions, but you can use yellow onions as well if you like. Okay, so now I just added in I think four or five garlic cloves. They're diced up. You can also use minced garlic if you like, if you don't have the fresh garlic, but I prefer the fresh garlic over the minced garlic, just so you know. So I'm going to let this cook down a little bit, and after this cooks down, I'm going to go ahead and grate some fresh ginger in here, probably about 2 thumb-sized pieces, so just stay tuned. Okay, y'all, so now that I've gone ahead and sauteed my onions and my peppers with my fresh garlic and the ginger, the grated ginger that I put in here, now I have in my garbanzo beans. So I don't have another can of garbanzo beans, but what I think I'm going to do is add in a can of white beans. So you can use white beans in this dish too. I'm just going to mix them together. So now that I got all my beans added in here, I'm just going to start building my flavor profiles. And these are going to be all the seasonings that I'm using. So here you see this is garlic salt seasoning. I have garlic powder, onion salt, onion powder. I have coriander, black pepper, turmeric, chili powder, cumin. The one essential ingredient that I don't have is curry powder, but that's okay. I'm going to use the flavors that I have, and it's still going to have nice flavors. Okay, so this is where I ended up adding in a can of diced tomatoes, and I also added in vegan chicken bouillon cube. So I only used half of it. I didn't use the whole thing, and then I added about, I would say, like a cup of water in here. And so now that this is simmering, I'm going to add a can of coconut milk. Okay, so now that I got everything in here, I'm just going to let this cook down for about 10 to 15 minutes. Just simmer it on low heat. It doesn't have to cook fast. At this time, or I would say like maybe 5 minutes before it's done, you can add in some fresh spinach to this to get in some more veggies, or you can add any other type of veggies that you might like. For instance, you can add in some fresh squash or zucchini or something like that. Okay, so I decided to go ahead and add in some fresh chopped zucchini. And when this is done, this should look more like a stew instead of a soup or anything like that. It should be pretty thick. In this pot right here, this is my rice cooker. So in here I added brown rice, I added some white long grain rice, and I also have a sweet rice in here. Okay, so that'll be cooking while I guess you could call it a bean stew, while that's cooking. And we're just going to move over here to this skillet, which I have some ground turkey that will go with this dish. So for the people who are non-vegan, this will be their protein. So all we did is simply just brown this brown turkey. And so we're going to let that sit until the rice is done. I'm going to put everything together and show you the finished product. And there's so much aroma that's coming out of this dish. I wish you could be here to smell it, but the fresh garlic, the ginger, the onions, the peppers, all the flavors, the cumin, the coriander, all of those flavors blended together so well, and it pairs nicely with the coconut milk. If you didn't have a bouillon cube, you could also use like maybe some fresh vegetable broth, or you could use chicken broth if you're not vegan, or anything like that to bring extra flavor to your dish. And like I said, don't forget, you could add some spinach, you could add these zucchini like I did, or even if you had a bunch of fresh kale, that would have been nice in this dish as well. So you don't have to stick to the exact recipe, just make it your own. Add in you some cayenne pepper if you like heat, or some red pepper flakes. That will also be nice. And for those of you who are daring, you can take this dish up a notch by adding you some Scotch bonnet peppers. If you know, you know. So just experiment and enjoy. I hope you love this dish. Also, another substitute you could have made for this dish is using diced tomatoes. I mean, not diced tomatoes, but you could use sun-dried tomatoes in here as well instead of the fresh diced tomatoes, which sometimes I like that better, but because I'm not cooking just for myself, I did do diced tomatoes. So just do it your way and make sure you use a full fat. If I didn't say that earlier, I probably did. And no, I'm not going to edit this out. But you are free to use a full fat. Actually, that will work better if you use a full fat coconut milk, and that's the coconut milk that's in the can, guys. So make sure you look for coconut milk in the can. So far, this is what my rice is looking like. I don't know if y'all can see it, but since this is a sweet rice, it's kind of sticky. So it's sticking with the brown rice and the long grain rice. So hopefully it won't be too sticky. And as you can see, my timer says, what, 9 minutes left. So you guys, it's getting there. Okay, so here's our little sticky rice that we got here. Still looks like it got a little bit of water in it, so it probably should sit a few minutes, but I'm not going to take the time to let it sit, but I suggest letting it sit for a few minutes if you do use a rice cooker. If not, if you're one of those people that you can just cook it on the stove and measure your water and everything turns out perfect, that's fine. So I got my rice on the bottom of this bowl here. Now I'm just going to top it with my bean stew. And this was able to sit, and so now everything is just perfectly congealed, if that's a word, or I don't know the right way to say it, but everything is blended together perfectly. This is totally a meal within itself because you have your rice and you have your protein, you have veggies in here, and you have everything. You have the creaminess of the coconut milk, so you have the fat that you need. So everything is in this dish that you could possibly want to feel satiated. And for those of you who do not eat animal products. But to top it off, for those of you who do, let's go ahead and add our turkey.